Fireproof, that's great for couples. That's awesome for them. Courageous, I mean, that's great for fathers and mothers. They can relate to that. Where's the movie or story for young adult Christians in their late teens or 20s? Well, the gifts and callings of God in Romans 11:29 are without repentance. And I'm making this video so you guys can kind of follow along the journey with me and all my friends and everybody involved in this. Well, what is this? Well, in the New Testament, God gives talents to people. He gave some people 5 talents, somebody else 2, somebody else 10, somebody else 1. And according to the number of talents He gives you is how many you can handle. And what I've been doing, if you know who I am, I've been speaking and studying for my minister's license, and I've been preaching and writing books, and I know that's the calling of God on my life, and a talent of mine is to speak. And so that's what I've been doing. But there's another talent and passion that I have that I've been pushing off to the side, because I had the feeling that I have to somehow bury that because it's less important to push this other to the forefront, that I can't give all of my attention and energy and effort into that unless I bury all other of talents and passions. Well, that's not how it works, because God gave me another talent and passion because I'm capable of doing it and because He wants me to use it. So what am I saying? I don't know if any of you know me, but I've been into filmmaking for most of my life. As a little kid, wanted to be a movie maker, and ever since I was a little kid, when I got a VHS camera when I was 9 or 10, been making movies ever since. Been making movies with Zach, which nobody watching this will ever see or hear about unless you ask them, which I hope you don't. But yeah, I want to make movies, and I was into it. I've been involved. I've been on other people's feature-length sets, which, if you hear this term during this documentary, a short film is anything from 5 minutes to an hour, and what a feature-length film is most feature-length films are an hour and a half to 2 hours. And I've been on other people's features and made my own shorts, and God has put this passion in me, and I'm thinking that now is the time to do this. Those of you who don't know me, right now I'm studying for my exhorter's minister's license, and I just finished writing my first book, and I got a couple sermons that I know the Lord wants me to have, and I have that stuff written. And with my job right now being early in the mornings and me studying in the afternoon, I have this gap during my nights and weekends for this. And right now I'm single. I have a job that's convenient for this, and I'm surrounded by talented people. Everybody I know can be involved in this one way or another. And for the rest of my life, I'm going to be preaching and I'm going to be making movies. But now might be the easiest time for the rest of my life to do this. So you're here at the very beginning of this journey. Let's do this. The whole writing process is pretty fun. I love writing, and of course that's the very beginning. If you don't have a story, you're not going to do anything. I mean, you could go out and film cool stuff, but and I love writing poetry, sermons, and stories, and I've had 2 on my mind for a little while before I decided to do this, and one of them I've actually been writing for years, since I was a teenager, and the other one's a lot lately. I'm actually writing right now 2 scripts. What I'm doing right now is writing 2 trailer scripts. I'm writing 3-minute trailers, then I'm going to film them, I'm going to look at them, and whichever one appeals to me, whichever one jumps out at me, whichever one jumps out at you guys or my friends, I think is the one I'm going to go with. Actually, I might just write them and read them and find out which ones I like. But right now I'm writing, one is a supernatural thriller. They're both Christian movies, because I want to make really cool Christian movies that people want to see really bad. And one is a supernatural thriller. It's like an action, and it has philosophy in it, it has cool effects, it has all that stuff. And the other one is a Christian romantic comedy, romantic dramedy. And I mean, at the beginning, when you're writing, it's you shouldn't just write whatever cool things come to mind. The best stories is when people write about what they know. Now, I haven't been in an action, thriller, supernatural, philosophical life, but the theme of the movie is faith and loss, and I have gone through both of those things. And anybody in their mid-20s has probably either dated or best friends with people who dated, or they know what it's all about. And you start out writing what you know. And so I'm going to continue writing these two. There are 3 simple rules. First one, write about what you know. Second of all, write around what you have. What do I mean by that? Well, if your parents own a pharmacy, you should write a movie where most of the scenes take place in a pharmacy. Write about people working at a pharmacy. If your family owns a farm, write a movie that takes place on a farm. Write around what you already have access to. I have a lot of friends who are talented, they're funny, they're good looking, they hang out with me all the time, so I already have access to them, they're already talented. And so I'm going to write a movie around, like the romantic dramedy. Write about people like that. I mean, I shouldn't write a movie that takes place in France with, people from Brazil, because I don't know people of that ethnicity. I don't have access to any of those things. Write around what you already have access to. One of my favorite directors is Robert Rodriguez. El Mariachi, Desperado. When he started out, he had a guitar case, a small town in Texas, and a turtle. So he wrote a movie about that. And if you write about what you know and you write about what you have, you're already on your way. And another one is write as few locations and few characters as possible. Because having made short films, having been on sets, you got schedules you have to work with. Getting people in one place to do something is incredibly hard. I get very jealous of people who make music, because you don't need 20 people there and 20 schedules to work around. If you're writing just a guitar song, it's you, the guitar, and whoever's recording it. And with the two, and I'm breaking a lot of these rules, the 3 basic rules with both of these. There are advantages and disadvantages of both these scripts. And with the supernatural thriller, I don't have the names for them yet, so I'm just going to call them by their genre. Supernatural thriller, there's very few characters and very few locations, so that's convenient. I've written about what I know, and I have few characters and few locations, but then there's special effects, there's makeup, there's all those things. And with the romantic dramedy, there's no special effects, there are few locations, but there's a lot of characters. I mean, with a romantic comedy or dramedy, for as much humor and drama as you want, you need families. You need friends. You need all these things. You need your best friends, parents. To make it really funny, you have all these things at your disposal, and the locations are easy. Houses, parks. I have access to a church. I've already written about locations I have. It's just there's going to be a lot of characters. So I just need to sit down, and when I look at them, what appeals to me, there's going to be different hardships either way. Yeah, man. This is going to be really cool.
Why do you write with a pen instead of a pencil?
Man, I've always written with a pen. I know this is really weird, but I can't stand the sound of pencil on paper. It makes this really weird scratching sound. And I've always done it like this.
It's a beautiful sound.
The very first draft of anything I write is always notebook. It's always with a pen and on a notebook. And I know, somehow, I know what I want to do when there's a bunch of scribbles. I don't like erasing. I know I can kind of focus more. And then after this, instead of, because a lot of people type, they rewrite, they reread it and retype, and they never get anything done. I just write it all down here. And so that whenever I do eventually type it on my computer, then as I'm reading through it, I know what changes I want to make. And so I just write it on this notebook, and as I'm typing, I'm like, oh, I want to change this and this. Mm-hmm. So I've always done that, man, ever since I was a little kid, 12, 13. It's just a really weird thing. I notice as I get older, I have processes of doing things. Yep, I'm almost done. Been writing for a couple weeks, been writing both trailers, and what I'm gonna do is gonna write the trailers so I can eventually shoot them, so I can show people, I get feedback, I can see what they look like, I can see what I'm doing. But I'm not gonna just stop at writing the trailer. That gives me huge plot points. Once you know your plot points, you can start filling in the details. And I'm gonna be writing both feature-length scripts. But we're getting down. Both trailer scripts are almost done, and I like them both. And it's gonna be hard to choose. I like the romantic dramedy. I like the characters. You know, that classic story of boy meets girl. And there's going to be real drama. You know, the cool thing about Christian dating is it's no different than anybody else. You have your fun moments, you will have your stressful moments, you have your drama, you have your coming together, you have family. I mean, we're no different than anybody else. It's just we handle things differently. We handle stress differently. We handle drama differently. We have a higher source, and sometimes when you have the third part of the triangle with God, sometimes that adds even more to it, and because you don't want to make a mistake. And then with the supernatural thriller, I don't want to give too much away, but with a man struggling with his faith, it's just really cool. Yeah, man, I like them both, and both are gonna be like really fun. I mean, it's gonna be hard, you know, but I mean, dude, the comedy would be really funny, you know, with everybody we know.
Yeah, like the comedy, I think you have more at your disposal. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like the thriller, the action. What do you call it? The action.
Yeah,
thriller.
like supernatural.
It seems like it'd be cool if you had, you know, more means. Like it seems like more money would be involved in that.
Yeah, it'd be a lot.
You don't really need a lot for a romantic comedy.
You really don't. I mean, most romantic comedies are like houses, parks. You know, I already know some of the big locations for those, and man, like using us, you know, we all could play off each other. That could be like really funny, and you know,
you know a bunch of different like personalities anyway, so you don't really need to like go out hunting for people or anything like that.
So that's kind of the one you're feeling right now, is the comedy.
Do you know like which one that you are leaning towards? Like, is there one that you like, one you'd rather do?
Yeah, it's been more on my mind lately, and like as I'm starting to like finish them, I see myself writing one in particularly a little bit more, and I'm definitely, I would say, leaning towards one right now.
Which one?